Welcome back to the news at 10. Ahead of tomorrow's primary election of the All Progressives Congress in Anambra State, the Commissioner of Police in the state, Garba Umar, has asked all parties to avoid violence. He was speaking during a meeting held at the headquarters of the Anambra State Police Command, where he also asked the aspirants to encourage their supporters and loyalists to be of good conduct. Now, the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, is wooing foreign investors to invest in Nigeria's renewable energy sector in order to meet up with the nation's ever-growing energy demands. The minister made the appeal at a meeting with the Australian High Commissioner in Abuja. He describes Nigeria's renewable energy sector as untapped, with a huge potential to grow the nation's economy. Now, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command says it's fought an armed robbery along the Giri-Zuba Road in Abuja, killing one of the robbery suspects in the process. According to the FCT Police Commissioner, Mr. Musa Kimo, the police swung into action after it received a distress call from passengers who were caught up in the attack. The police commissioner appealed to the FCT residents to provide useful information that could lead to the arrest of other members of the armed robbery gang who fled the scene with bullet wounds. Members of the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Grand Alliance have commended the Anambra State Governor, Willie Obiano, for keeping his promises to the people. This comes after the team's tour of a few projects that were initiated by the governor to improve on the yield from agriculture.
Agriculture is one of the 4 pillars of Governor Willie Obiano's blueprint for his administration. To bring those plans to life, the state's drive to be self-sufficient in food production comes in handy, strengthened through a partnership with Dell Farm Anambra Songhai Agro Limited.
The state government is helping them to actualize that objective from Samila. By the time they sign up that contract, this company will be one of the biggest and richest companies in the world. And the barrier will benefit from that immensely because of the developmental things that will come with it.
Members of the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Grand Alliance are on a tour of the agricultural products, and Dell Farm Integrated Farm Settlement is first on their list. The project is located in Ibarian community in Anambra East local government area. The plan is to reawaken the people's consciousness to the governor's performance, which they strongly believe will fetch him another term in office. The Dell Farm Anambra Songhai project is a unique integrated development framework that combines agriculture, technology, industry, and services. Its objective is to establish, manage, and maintain 4 specialized farms across the state's 3 senatorial zones.
Part of what we're doing here is an integrated farm, and our basic focus is sorghum.
They move on to Aguleri within the same local government area, where the team inspect road projects constructed to open up areas where agriculture is viable. 42-kilometer road stretches across a 200-kilometer bridge at Odene River to link Iyora Anam in Anambra West with the rest of the state.
The project speaks for itself, and it tells you that Governor Obiano is a model. He's doing this in agriculture, he's doing a lot of work in education, and most importantly, commerce and industry. So this is a man really that, if he's encouraged, what we want in this country is success stories. We want success stories, stories that other Nigerians can see that democracy works.
They also stopped by the rice farm located in Nnewi South local government area, an industry that deals specially in rice production and exportation.
The Governor Willie Obiano is the symbol of Abga here. So they have come to assess his performance. And they are very, very happy with what they have seen.
The benefits expected from this partnership are huge. The focus is to use the training and empowerment centers to create jobs in poultry, animal husbandry, fishery, cassava, rice, and other value chains, which are important links in the state's agriculture transformation strategy.
If there's any lesson the Ogun State government wants the children to take home from the ongoing summer camp in the state, it's that hard work pays. The chief host of the summer camp, Governor Ibikunle Amosu, who was represented by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Dayo Adene, wants the students to emulate those who've been successful against all odds. One of them is the popular music artist Olamide, who was invited to the camp to interact with the students.
It goes beyond being talented, it goes beyond being determined. It goes beyond being skillful. You can be very skillful, you can be very talented, but if you're not well disciplined and you don't put God first in whatever you do, no matter how hard you try, it's just going to keep looking as if trying at all.
This is your second week in the summer camp. We hope you've learned a lot. We hope, like the governor said to you after the work, we pray, not just hope, that the next commissioner is seated amongst you. The next governor will come from amongst you. The next president will come from amongst you. I, like yourself, went to school in Ogun State here. I went to Jebode Grammar School. And by the grace of God, we are sitting here amongst you today. So I have no doubt that the future leaders are seated amongst us here.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Anne Waudu.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Ijoma, and welcome to Business News. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is asking members of the Independent Petroleum Producers Group to participate in the forthcoming bid for 30 marginal oil fields which will be flagged off by the federal government. At the NNPC Towers in Abuja, the Group Managing Director, Dr. Michael Tibaru, advised the Independent Petroleum Producers Group to work with the Department of Petroleum Resources and ensure they meet the bidding requirements. The National Insurance Commission is collaborating with the Nigerian Stock Exchange to strengthen the insurance sector. Activities lined up to the partnership was birthed at the quarterly Insurance Committee meeting in Lagos. Our correspondent Temple Ashaju reports.
Insurance market penetration in Nigeria has remained below 3%, one of the lowest in the world. This reflects in the weak performance of the companies, 27 of which are listed on the stock exchange. For failure to comply with post-listing requirements, the NSE delisted 12 of these companies a few months ago. This meeting of the Insurance Committee therefore provides an opportunity to forge a way forward in partnership with the NSE.
We are not happy when a company has an infraction. We actually celebrate companies that have no infraction. So it doesn't give us joy to punish a company that has it. We would rather that wasn't the case.
As part of strategies to deepen penetration, strategic risk management via securitization has been recommended.
And when we go to pitch, we're pitching the person or the institution from a total portfolio perspective. And based on where they are in their lifetime, their risk tolerances and things like that, we can do asset allocation. And I think we as a financial industry may do better with regards to penetration.
Within 4 weeks, we are going to roll out at least 8 new restructuring policies and market developmental policies, which would be in consultation with the players. We'll release exposure drafts of many policies. Too many for you to have good Christmas.
At the stock exchange, the commission made bold to explain the adoption of the NSE proposals.
We have adopted his presentation as a working paper of the committee, and we're going to have subcommittees to dissect it and come up with how we can ensure that our members that are quoted play their role, and members that are not quoted to see incentives in what he has presented to come to the floor of the exchange.
The Mohammed Kari-led Insurance Commission has made efforts to entrench transparency in the sector. The reality of a partnership with the stock exchange might be a game changer for operators. Temple Ashaju, Channels Television News.
Trading on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended the 4th week of August with a marginal recovery. Let's now join BC Adebayo for the summary of today's transactions.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. Despite negative sentiments recorded across 4 major counters of the market on Friday, the all-share index managed to soft land with a 19 basis points recovery. Big cap stocks from the consumer goods sector helped lift the markets, contributing 0.86% to equities performance, while total market value increased by 25 billion naira to 12.63 trillion naira. 15 stocks which added to the market's recovery include top gainers International Breweries, Flour Mills and Dangote Sugar, overpowering 25 losers led mostly by Learn Africa. Total transactions yielded over 3.24 billion naira from 422.44 million units of shares traded in 3,618 deals. The top 3 volume drivers for the day are the shares of Unity Capital, Access and Fidelity Bank. And that's it on the Stock Market Reports. I am BC Adebayo.
European Central Bank President Mario Draghi says the global economy is improving, but offered no insight on the central bank's monetary policy plan. In a speech at Jackson Hole today, Mr. Draghi said that growth has been visible for some years, particularly in the US, Europe and Japan. According to him, demographic challenges pose serious risks for continued productivity and potential growth of the global economy. The euro currency soared 1.03% to 1.194 against the US dollar today, and that's its highest since January 2015. Asian markets closed in the green today, but it was a negative close for Europe. And as for US stocks, they closed mostly higher on new hopes for tax reform next week. Let's take a look at the numbers. Thanks for watching Business News tonight. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm Anne Nwawado. It's back to you, Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. Now let's get a bit more perspective on Nigeria's renewable energy sector. We had told you that the federal government is trying to woo investors to do something about the country's ever-growing energy demands.
Nigeria, though we are the 6th largest exporters of crude oil, but we have to invest heavily in renewable energy to prepare us both for our own domestic energy requirement because our population is quite large, and by the turn of this century, in 83 years from now, by current estimates, growth rate, our population should be getting very close to 1 billion. So our energy requirements will be rising, with time. So we need to ensure that we have enough and adequate investment, both for research, for innovation, and the production of renewable energy.
This morning, really, it is an opportunity to commence some of those discussions with you, to make contacts with within your ministry, so that we can ensure that our engagement is a fruitful one, and not just around your mission to Australia, but also for the longer term, so that we can develop stronger institutional links to further the development of innovation, science and technology in our two countries.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's the Tigers thrashed West African neighbours Cote d'Ivoire 98-43 points to reach the semi-final of the 2017 FIFA Women's Afro Basket in Mali. Do join us again.